IVM.
Hi, I'm Rohan Joshi, and on my podcast, the show about crypto, I've been having some pretty cool conversations with industry experts about what exactly cryptocurrency is and what makes it so exciting. If you haven't already, please check it out on the IVM Podcasts Network. Now, a quick shout out to my fellow crypto heads. We've got a listener survey going on, which will take not more than 10 minutes of your time to fill out. So please check the link in the description and help me out by filling it up. Don't forget to tune into a show about crypto on the IVM app and wherever you get your podcasts from.
Folks, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. I'm your host Anupam Gupta, B50 on Twitter, and my guest today is Nitin Gupta, co-founder Unicard, and we're going to talk about a very unique proposition. Pay 1/3. Don't go anywhere, guys. Really interesting product. We'll be back after this really short break.
$100. That's all it takes to begin your journey with Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, really. With CoinSwitch, you can start investing in over 100 cryptocurrencies with just 100 rupees. On top of that, there are zero charges for deposits and withdrawals, so you can trade, buy, sell, however and whenever you want. All of this, plus their extremely intuitive interface, makes CoinSwitch the perfect app for beginners in the crypto space. But don't take my word for it. Just download CoinSwitch for free and try it out for yourself. If you'd like more information on cryptocurrencies, tune into a show about crypto with me, Rohan Joshi, my new adventure on IVM Podcasts. CoinSwitch, kuch to badlega.
And welcome back. Nitin, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this for our listeners.
Oh, thank you, Anupam, for inviting me for this. Very glad to be here.
Good to have you, Nitin. Really brief and quick intro to our listeners, maybe who have not heard of Unicard. What does Unicard do, and where can our listeners sign up?
So, Unicard's first product is called Pay 1/3 card. If you take this product, then every transaction that you do on this card, it's a Visa card, gets split into three parts that you can pay back in 3 months. So let's say you did a 3,000 rupee transaction. You pay then 1,000 rupees end of month 1, 1,000 rupees end of month 2, and 1,000 rupees end of month 3. And if you decide to pay back the entire 3,000 rupees end of month 1 itself, then like a typical credit card, you get 1% rewards or cashback. It's the customer's choice. So the customer is ideally choosing between 1% reward or giving up that 1% reward to pay in 3 months. It's a Visa card. And you can sign up for it on uni.cards, or you can download our app on Play Store or iOS Store. Just look for the word uni.
Very interesting. So we'll get into the card soon on this episode, Nitin, but let's take one step back. Buy now, pay later is here. Credit cards are always here. UPI, there's this entire ecosystem of payments that's helping me, the user, pay in all kinds of way for all the kind of stuff that I use. What are you guys after? To put it, the way that people ask it these days, what is the uni use case?
Yeah.
What is the opportunity? And what are you guys solving for?
Right. So Anupam, if you think about it, right, that in any economy, as people have to make payments, right, they are buying goods and services and products, and they first make payment from their bank account. And they use, they earlier used to use the debit card or net banking to make those payments. Now they use UPI to make those payments. But as a user becomes better, has more predictable income, and banks can underwrite them, they give that customer or that user a credit line, a free credit line, for which they can use to make payments. A credit card is one such product. You use a credit card and you buy goods, products, services, holidays, phones, etc., and you get free credit period. Unicard is the next level. We have again given a customer a free credit line to do and make payments. It's a Visa card, so you can buy anything that you can buy online or offline where Visa is accepted. But the value proposition is much superior to a typical credit card. A typical credit card will give you reward points. Typically, those reward points are worth 0.5%. In good scenarios, they go to 1%. At Uni, we are offering the user 1% reward, but along with that, also giving a choice to give up that 1% reward and pay in 3 months. So Uni is actually not a credit card. It is what we call as a pay later card. It's a buy now, pay later line running on top of a Visa card. So it's a completely different league to a credit card, but is a payment product and is somewhere superior to a typical credit card because of this flexibility of either taking 1% reward or paying in 3 months.
Very interesting. So I've understood the difference between uni and a credit card. I mean, in a normal credit card, like you said, I'll swipe it, and at the end of whatever 45, 60 days, I have to pay the entire money back.
Yeah.
Let's look at BNPL, right? Because or whatever these fascinating discounts that you have. I mean, I'm really surprised these days that if I go to buy and say, let's say for example, an iPhone, I actually get a discount if I choose an EMI, and I'm like, okay, chalo, theek hai, whatever. Explain to our listeners how this works. How is uni different from say a buy now pay later, or when what's called checkout finance, right? I mean, is there a different value proposition here?
No,
Am I understanding your product correctly?
Yeah. So uni is a buy now pay later. The difference is that in the yesteryears, right, whenever you went for a buy now pay later product, it was typically a 0% EMI. You would walk into, let's say, a Chroma to buy a fridge. Now, instead of buying a 40,000 rupee fridge, you buy 80,000 rupee fridge for 0% EMIs, and those EMIs are paid over 12 months. That is also buy now pay later, but that buy now pay later worked at specific merchants, online or offline. Now, what Uni did, they said, I'll offer you 3 months of free EMIs, or three months of free payments, right? And I will make that work everywhere where Visa is accepted. Today, Visa is offline accepted over 6 million merchants. Whereas, one of the best 0% EMI products is only available at 100,000 stores. So by making this 3-month work on a Visa card, Uni just expanded the ecosystem meaningfully. And this is how our BNPL, while we are a BNPL, we are different from the BNPL of the past. Now, BNPL can occur in many forms also, Anupam. If you look at a credit card, it is very well defined by the regulator RBI. A credit card is a product which has a 30-day billing cycle, and then it has a grace period. The grace period needs to be at least 14 days, right? And it works in a certain way. Whereas in a BNPL, right, because each transaction is actually a loan, it's up to the BNPL manufacturer to define what that product should be or can be. So for example, there are companies like Bajaj Finance, which offer 12 months of free 0% EMI so that you can buy that Samsung fridge. Uni, on the other hand, is offering you this choice where you can pay for any transaction in 3 months or pay upfront and get 1% reward. We also have inbuilt EMIs, by the way. Or on the other extreme, when I was CEO of Ola Financial Services, we ran a BNPL product called Ola Money Postpaid. There you could pay for Ola rides through that credit line and pay Ola back after 15 days. It was a 15-day product. All three are BNPLs. They are just different from each other. And Uni has its own use case.
Okay. Couple of questions before we go into the break, Nitin. What's your view on India's credit culture? There was a time a couple of years ago where everybody was saying that India is a very underpenetrated market for credit, and now we've come to the point where loans are, I guess, really freely available out there. Do you think people are getting spoiled to spend more? The very old school thinking, you should always spend from your debit card and you should not use credit. Do you think NPS could rise, for example? A lot of people still think that debit card is a safe way to go. Just big picture thoughts on our credit culture, our credit habits with this massive BNPL and all these new products coming up.
So if you look at India, right, you can divide India into 3 parts. Part 1 is this about 50 million Indians who have access to a credit line for making payments. This credit line may be in form of a credit card, maybe in form of a BNPL line, but that's only about 50 million Indians. Then there are another 150 million Indians, 150 million Indians, which have access to loans, but they don't have access to a credit line to make payments. And then there is another 1.2 billion Indians who don't have access to formal credit at all. So 50, 150, 1.2. The people who are spoiled for choice today are these 50 million. And in this 50 million, when people get access to credit, and when they don't know how to manage credit well, right? That's when things go berserk. So for example, let's say a user got a line of 100,000 rupees, credit card or BNPL does not matter. And their repayment capability is, let's say, 50,000 rupees a month. So their salary is 50,000 rupees, for a minute, assume that, right? Now, if that person extends to 100,000, and is not able to repay back, then they have misused credit, right? This is not responsible use of credit. However, a similar user who got a 100,000 rupee line, has a propensity to pay back of 50,000 rupees, buys a laptop for 95,000 rupees. Now that person did something and is now paying back that in installments or paying that over months, right? So how a user uses credit is very important. There are people who can use it responsibly, and there are people who are not able to use it responsibly. And this is something which actually boils down to a user level more so than anything else. That's my fundamental view.
It's a great topic, just talking about credit, because while I get where I don't want to call them the older generation, but you know how it is, right? People who say you should not use credit card is evil. I get their point. I mean, once you spend money that you have, you're probably building more safety for yourself. But at the same time, credit, like you said, when used well, can actually be a very powerful tool. And then last question before we go into the break, anything about your size, your progress, your journey so far? Because you guys launched when? Last year or somewhere?
So we launched in June 2021. That's when our beta went live.
What a time to go live, huh? Okay.
And in that month of June, we had spends or disbursals of 80 lakhs. And in December, we did 175 crores.
Whoa.
So in 6 months, we have grown from 80 lakhs to 175 crores.
Nice. It's very good to hear that. So folks, on the other side of this break, we're going to drill down deep into the Unicard. So you're going to be wanting to listen to this second part of this really special Paisa Vaisa episode, the Unicard special. My guest, Nitin Gupta, co-founder Unicards. We'll be right back.
We know you love fast food,
fast fashion,
faster payment,
lightning fast internet speed.
Then why not fast information?
On Think Fast, where we discuss the latest developments in the world of technology, business, marketing, pop culture.
With a side of sarcasm and my dad jokes, not just mine.
Not mine, Varun. My jokes are funny. So join me, guys, the funnier one, Suchita Salvan, co-founder of LBB.
And me, Varun Dugirala, the co-founder of The Glitch, as we think fast only on the IVM network.
Fresh episodes out every Monday.
On the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.
And welcome back to this episode, the Unicard special with Nitin Gupta, co-founder at Unicards. Nitin, chalo, let's talk about the Unicard now. Okay, first question that I have to ask: why pay 1/3? Why not pay 1/10? No, pay 1/5 or pay whatever 25%. Any reason or logic to the 1/3?
So at the end of the day, if you look at my P&L, right, I am paying for the cost of credit for those 3 months. And if you draw the P&L, anything more than 3 months becomes extremely expensive for the P&L to afford. And 3 months is therefore that sweet spot. Now, if the customer has a need for more than 3 months, then they have an option to convert any transaction into a longer tenure EMI or loan. It may be for 6 months, 10 months, 20 months, it's their choice. But there the customer pays an additional interest to Uni. So Uni is willing to give 3 months for free, but if you need more than that, then the customer bears the interest.
Okay. What is the card? Is this a loan? Will I don't know, need to have a credit score for this? If I don't have a credit score, can I not get it? If I mess this up, will my credit score get impacted? How does this work?
That's correct. All BNPL are loans. Every transaction is actually treated as an individual loan. However, for the purpose of reporting to the bureau, etc., they are all consolidated. So it's a loan, first of all. Now, different companies, and there are many companies in this space, in the BNPL space, they offer this BNPL product to different types of customers. Somebody may offer it to customers who are new to credit, who have never have taken a loan in the past. Somebody may do it only for customers who have taken loan in the past. Uni, as of today, as we speak, offers this product to customers who have taken loan in the past. We work with our NBFC partners, and those NBFC partners are willing to extend this loan to customers who have a bureau presence or a presence on the credit bureau for at least 1 year. In the next few months, we are working with our NBFC partners to extend this product to even new to credit customers, customers who have never taken a loan in the past.
So that means that if I apply for the Unicard, I should ideally have a credit score. If I don't have a credit score, then at least as of now, as we are talking, you will not get the card. Am I right?
Yes, But as of March 2022, we will start opening that for customers who are new to credit as well.
Okay, let's get into how the card works. You mentioned at the starting of the episode. Let's go a little bit deeper. Any example that you have for our listeners so that they can understand this?
So what we give the customer is a Visa card, right? This card is present virtually inside the app, and they also have this physical card. To sign up, it takes less than 5 minutes. You just have to download the app, give your details, go through the KYC process, and you get the card. Once you have the card, you can swipe that card anywhere where Visa works, or you can use it online anywhere where Visa works. So it's as simple as that. It's a 16-digit number, enter it, enter the expiry CV, enter your OTP, and the transaction goes through online. Offline, swipe your card or enter your chip and PIN, enter the card, enter your PIN, and it's done. It's also contactless, so you can tap it at any terminal. And if it accepts contactless transactions, then the contactless also works. So it's as simple as that.
And I'm assuming that, when you say that onboarding or signing up takes less than 5 minutes, that assumes that I have an eKYC in place. I would need to have an Aadhaar and PAN and all that, right?
Yeah. So we follow eKYC followed up with video KYC. The KYC norms that have been prescribed by the regulator, you follow those KYC process.
Okay, let's get into the slightly dicey stuff. What if I miss a payment? How does this work? I don't know. Let's just take, it's 1st of Jan. I use the card. I buy a phone that costs 30,000 on Amazon. I use your card. What happens after that? Do I have to pay 10,000 on 1st Feb, 10,000 on 1st March, and 10,000 on 1st April? Or how does this work?
So let's say you bought something on 1st of January or 2nd of January for 30,000 rupees. You will pay 10,000, and let's say your bill got generated at the end of month. So end of January, end of February, end of March, end of April. End of January, end of February, end of March. Then your bill, there's a bill payment date. Let's say that bill payment date is the 10th of the month. So your 10,000 rupees, the first 10,000 rupees will be due on 10th of Feb. The second will be due on 10th of March, and the third will be due on 10th of April. Now, let's say you get late in paying back. Then, first of all, you will get about 5 or 6 reminders from us. So we make sure that people don't miss their payments. Some people have said you send too many reminders, but that's a good thing.
And these are gentle reminders, right? Notifications. You don't have some guy calling you up. Who's mean or something.
These are all emails, notifications, and WhatsApp messages to tell the user that, please make a payment so that you don't get delayed. Because if you get late, then a late fee is applied, and that's not ideal.
What is the late fee that you're talking about out here?
Late fee varies for a customer to customer. It's a slab-based late fee. It starts from, I think, 150 rupees and goes up to a few thousand rupees, depending upon their bill size. But it's a slab-based late fee payment.
Sure.
Now, the customer has a lot of inbuilt flexibility, however. Let me talk about a few things which are really cool about this card. First of all, our care is pretty cool. So let's say you are ever stuck, right? And let's say you want to contact your bank or your service provider. You typically look for a phone number, then you call that phone number. You typically look for an email and you call that email. In Uni, you have to just open WhatsApp, search for Uni, and start typing like any chat message about your problem. So our entire care functions on WhatsApp. And the way to reach out is just to open your WhatsApp, type Uni, open the Uni message box, and just start chatting. The second cool thing about Uni is that all our charges are inclusive of GST. We have seen this so many number of times. There is a charge and there is a 9% CGST and then 9% SGST and then क्या यार 18%? मतलब क्यों कर रहे हो यार? एक fee बता दो ना, एक all inclusive बता दो. मतलब ऐसे भागों में बांट के क्यों कर रहे हो? And that is what at Uni we have made it very clear. Our entire charges are inclusive of GST. Another cool feature of Uni is that let's say you are not able to pay back the minimum amount that you have paid back in that month. Let's say your due was 10,000 rupees and the minimum that you had to pay was, for example, say 2,500 rupees. And you can only pay, let's say 3,000 rupees that month. Then you can shift the payment for the remaining 7,000 to next month by paying us a carry forward fee. And this is a very, very cool part. The fees gets applied only on that 7,000. You have 27,000 due. If you remember, you had made a transaction for 30,000 rupees. 10,000 was due month 1, 10,000 month 2, 10,000 month 3. In month 1 itself, you have paid 3,000 and 7,000 remains. Your carry forward fee will get applied only on that 7,000 and not on the remaining 27,000. This is very, very unlike credit cards, which apply the entire interest on the entire outstanding. This is another very cool feature of Uni.
Okay. Talk about the reward points. There was something that you mentioned about how if I don't want to pay the, the 3 installments and I want to pay the entire amount upfront, what's that about?
So let's say you decide to pay back the entire 30,000 by 10th of February, right? You get 1% cash back right away. So you pay 300 rupees less. You actually pay 29,700 instead of paying 30,000. And very soon we are launching a feature where this 300, if it's your choice, can be converted to 300 reward points. And one reward point is worth at least 1 rupee, not at most, at least.
Wow.
So we will give you a catalog of products where you can choose to buy those products where 1 point is worth more than 1 rupee. And in worst case, you can always knock it off against the bill for 1 rupee. And it is all customer's choice.
So that's actually a 1:1 ratio. Like I have a 30,000 due and I'm actually going to be paying you 29,700 if I choose to pay upfront.
That's correct.
Okay. And then one basic question, how does this work? I mean, what is given to me? A credit line is given to me, and does that line differ from person to person depending on my credit score? How do you guys, size me up?
This is your affluence. So there are models which run in the past which try to predict your affluence or your income. And therefore, every customer gets a different line. Our line today ranges from as little as 20,000 rupees to as much as 6 lakh rupees.
Oh, 6 lakh. It's a nice amount.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure that over a period of time, do you think that I can apply for increasing the limit if, of course, I followed good behavior?
Yes.
That's possible, right?
Yes. With good behavior, lines can increase. With giving us more data, lines can increase. So that's a solvable problem.
Excellent. Okay. So just winding up the episode, last couple of questions. Then, who do you think this card is ideal for?
See, as of today, this is a superior card than most credit cards out there. It is superior to 98% of the credit cards out there. So if you have a credit card, then this is a better product because of the flexibility of paying in 3 months apart from the 1% reward. So I would say that any existing credit card user is the ideal customer for this product.
Very interesting. I might be tempted because I use credit cards a lot. And 1/3 sounds really, sounds quite tempting. That cashback though is a real, it's a real deal sweetener. Okay. Any fine print, anything that our listeners should be really careful about while using the card, because, there's, like they say, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, or anything here that you want to tell our listeners?
With any credit product, you need to use it responsibly. So see, at the end of the day, a credit product enables us in 2 ways. A, it is rewarding because you're not paying interest or you're getting rewards on it. And B, it enables you to do a purchase beyond your means today, which you would have otherwise done tomorrow. Now, this is a very important piece, right? It's helping you do a purchase today, which you would have otherwise done tomorrow by enabling you. If you misuse that enablement, then it's a misuse at the end of the day, right? You will not be able to pay back, you will incur fees and charges, and that is not appropriate. So using credit responsibly is a very important thing. And it's not a hard thing. 90% people are able to use credit responsibly. Even for the remaining 10%, it's only a very few small percentage users who are not able to use credit responsibly. So it's a thing which is easier than doing maths, and maths is hard for many people. So that will be my only parting mark, that use credit responsibly.
It's definitely tough for me. I'm going to flip this into, a list. Give our listeners, I don't know, top 3 or top 5 habits to use credit responsibly. If someone were to ask you, Nitin, tell me, what are the habits that I should inculcate? For someone who's new to credit, let's say, people who obviously use a credit card and who are familiar with loans, they know, what are the pitfalls. But say someone who's new, what did you tell them? That these, rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3 to use credit responsibly. Let's end up with that.
So I will say that rule number 1 is to be exercised for the first 3-4 months. In the first 3-4 months, when you take a pay later card or a credit card, try to pay back the entire bill end of first month itself. This is for the first 3-4 months. It gets you into the behavior of paying back your bill on time. That's the first recommendation. The second recommendation is, if you are going to go beyond your means to buy something today, have a sense of how much you can pay back every month. You can look at your income, you can look at your expenses, what you're left with is excess, right? Let's say the excess that is left over is 20,000 rupees. That means you can pay back 20,000 rupees extra every month. That means if you're paying over a period of 6 months, then you can pay something like 120,000 rupees. Or if you're paying over a period of 12 months, you can pay something like 240,000 rupees. Knowing this limit is very valuable, because then something worth that much you can upfront it today, but not beyond that. That will be my second recommendation. My third recommendation is that if you are in a position where you have stretched beyond your means, then cut down on your expenses and consolidate debt. Usually people, when they have one credit line, they get another one to pay this one or manage this one, they get a third one, they get a fourth one. The only way to come out of such situation is to cut down your expenses, consolidate your debt into a single product, minimize the interest on it, and just service it through. These will be my 3 recommendations.
Very interesting, folks. So I hope that you have heard that and you have made a note of that, because believe me, handling credit can be tough, and when you can actually do it well, it is really rewarding, not just in terms of liquidity, but also in terms of reward points and stuff like that. So please, spend only what you have. Do not get carried away, and rewind this last part that Nitin said to learn good habits about credit, folks. And that's it. That is a wrap on this episode of Paisa Vaisa. My guest, Nitin Gupta, co-founder at Unicard. Nitin, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this for our listeners.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
And listeners, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to reach out to me, I'm your host, Anupam Gupta, B50 on Twitter. And thank you so much for listening to Paisa Vaisa.
No material on the show should be considered as financial advice. The material on the show is for informational purposes only. Please consult a financial advisor before taking any investment decision.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, good friend of the show, good friend of Cyrus and myself, Mangalam Mallu is on. He's the assistant editor and anchor at CNBC TV 18, and he and Cyrus discuss how the budget of 2022 affects us all. On This Round is on Me, we flipped the script as Gauri is a guest on her own show. Check it out as Kavita Rajwade, my co-founder at IVM Podcast, hosts this very special episode. On Misconduct, Raghavi and Nisha are joined by Priya Mirza. She's the host of the Longest Constitution podcast. They take a close look at the former Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi. On Audio Gyan, Kedar talks to Dr. Simin Patel. She's the co-founder of the Bombay Wala Historical Works. She talks about how she picks out the most interesting stories to showcase. And on Tere Mere Raste, Keshav tells us the amazing transformation of the ravaged land of Purnapani. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, please do tell a friend. It really does help us when you spread the word about our podcast. And I'd also like to ask you if you could rate or recommend wherever you listen to our podcast. And speaking of where you listen to this show, if you're on an Android phone, do check out our new Android app. We have a brand new app with a brand new listening experience. Definitely check it out. I think you will enjoy it. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber. Thank you so much for making this possible.
IVM